What's going on, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome back to another episode of Decaf. I hope this one finds you well, and of course, for those that don't know, this is pretty much a podcast/video series that is centered around content creation, the streaming side of things, the actual YouTuber side of things, what you see on the back end of it all. And I like to share my thoughts, tips, tricks, stuff that I've picked up along the way. Of course, as I always say, I'm not a professional. I don't do this full-time. This is not my full-time job, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But after doing this for about 6 years, I feel like I've picked up on a couple of things that are worth sharing. Today we're going to be talking about transparency and being yourself on stream and why that is a huge benefit and also why it is so difficult. So let's start off with the why it's so difficult, because I've been facing this myself lately. Whenever you're watching any kind of big streamer, because that's, people that we watch, Dr. Lupo, Ninja, any kind of Tim the Tap Man, Lyric, anyone like that, the big names that you know in the streaming space, they're always talking, they're always a little bit bubbly, a little bit, ready to play the game, whatever it may be. There's always this kind of personality that they have and that people have come to expect whenever they do go into that stream. And that, I would say, is not natural. That's not something that is just going to flow for a lot of people. Of course, if you are one of those lucky people that is that extroverted, congratulations, you have won the genetic streamer lottery, because that is amazing. But for a lot of people, it just simply doesn't work out that way. For me, I kind of have to push myself and be more entertaining on some nights than I normally would be. Of course, I have been blessed with the gift of being able to speak into a mic and kind of, compose myself in a way that is relatively understandable for the majority of the time. But a lot of people don't find themselves in that situation. There are a lot of people that want to stream, but they are introverts. They don't like talking. They don't like people necessarily, but they still want to get into the streaming space. And that can be a difficult thing, and the majority of time, at least the way that I see it, people try and push themselves out of their comfort zones, out of who they are, and that can be a big benefit in the long run for both your stream and yourself as a person. I'm a big fan of pushing yourself to your limits and beyond, but it doesn't necessarily always play out in the long run, because you will get sick of faking it every time you go live. Make no mistake, this is something that I am still learning myself and kind of getting a grasp on, because I find myself burnt out at the end of every week because I've been streaming and doing stuff so much, and I need to kind of get a grip on that myself. But essentially, the way that I do things is that I'll take whatever characteristics make my personality unique, and I turn those up to 10 throughout the week, which isn't necessarily the best thing to do either, and it is related to what we were talking about before, where you really just put on a different kind of air. I'm the same person, but I am just a way different version of that person whenever I go live. Earlier this week, I tried something where I went live one morning and I wasn't bubbly, I wasn't ready to go, I wasn't necessarily on my game, and I just kind of was me. And people enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more, and that is the key, and that's why I think being transparent and being yourself on stream is a big benefit in the long run, because you become more comfortable on the camera whenever you can just be yourself. If you aren't having a good day, then as long as you aren't, just tearing everybody down and being a jerk about it all, then by all means, go live and be like, hey guys, I'm having a rough day, let's play some games. There is a connection there that is developed with your audience. There is a genuine feel that they know you and that you know them, and there's just there's almost like an innocence to that, where you aren't going to be perfect all the time, and you aren't going to fake like you're going to be perfect all the time. You are just simply there to play some games, have a good time, and you want the support of the community. That can be an amazing thing. On top of that, if you are just chilling and you're in a really laid back, vibing kind of mood, that was a weird way to say that, but if you're just laid back and you just want to go live and not be high octane and just play some games and chill with the chat, that's a great way to do stuff as well. As long as you are transparent and as long as you are comfortable, then the chat is more than likely going to have a good time. I can't stress that enough. As long as you are enjoying the stream, your audience is going to enjoy the stream 9 times out of 10. So if there is one thing to take away from today's episode of Decaf, it is this, and that is that being transparent is going to help you in the long run, because you develop a genuine connection with that audience and a sense of vulnerability that is hard to really pin down whenever you are trying to put on a show for people. Make no mistake, you may not be in the top of the directory, you may not be at the #1 spot on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook Gaming, whatever it may be, but when it comes down to it, you are going to have a piece of content that I would say is more valuable than anyone that's faking it to make it. So that wraps it up for today's episode of Decaf. If you enjoyed it, please drop me a like down below if you are watching on YouTube. And if you're on a podcast service, thank you so much for listening, and I would love to see you rate the show, favorite it, whatever you might be doing, just do the thing. And also, if you really enjoyed it, share it with your friends. Spread this thing around the internet like an internet-transmitted disease. Let's call it an ITD. Sounds delicious, does it not? Anyways, I love you guys very much. I will talk to you soon. Peace.